September 1598. The hallways of the royal palace are quiet. The only sounds are the whispers of worried doctors and the occasional groans coming from the king's room. Inside that room, lying on a rotting bed, is a man in horrible pain. His body is falling apart. His hands, twisted and swollen from gout, can't do anything. His legs, bloated with fluids, haven't moved in weeks. The smell from his decaying flesh is so strong that even the most loyal servants cover their faces when they come in. This isn't just any sick man. He's not a criminal or a poor beggar. He is Philip II, the most powerful king of his time, ruler of Spain, Portugal, Naples, Sicily, and much of the Americas. A man who once challenged Queen Elizabeth of England. A man who built one of the greatest palaces in Europe. A man who fought hard to protect the Catholic faith. Now he's lying helpless, trapped in a body that's turning against him. How did this happen to such a powerful ruler? To understand, we need to go back to the beginning. Philip II was born on May 21st, 1527, in Valladolid, Spain. His father was Emperor Charles V, and his mother was a Portuguese princess named Isabella. From the time he was a child, Philip was trained to rule a giant empire. But unlike his father, who loved battles and war, Philip was quiet, serious, and loved paperwork. He was so focused on details that people called him the King of Papers. He would spend hours reading reports and signing documents to control every part of his empire. When his father stepped down in 1556, Philip became king. Then, in 1580, after the Portuguese king died without a clear heir, Philip claimed the Portuguese crown too, saying he had royal blood from both sides. With his army, he defeated the opposition and became King of Portugal as well, joining the two most powerful kingdoms under his rule. Philip was deeply religious and believed he was chosen by God. Under his rule, the Spanish Inquisition became more powerful, punishing anyone who was not a loyal Catholic. Yet he also loved art and architecture. His greatest building project, the grand monastery palace of El Escorial, became a symbol of his faith and power. In his personal life, Philip married 4 times. His first wife, Maria of Portugal, died giving birth to their son, Prince Carlos. That son later had a mental breakdown, and Philip locked him away, where he died mysteriously. His second wife, Mary Tudor of England, known as Bloody Mary, also died without giving him a child. His third wife, Elizabeth of Valois, gave him daughters but died in childbirth. His fourth wife, Anna of Austria, who was also his niece, finally gave him a son who would become Philip III. Although he ruled much of the world, Philip's health was always bad. Since he was young, he had terrible gout, a disease that causes joint pain and swelling. Gout was often called the disease of kings because it affected people who ate a lot of meat and drank wine. Just like Philip. As he got older, the pain grew worse. By 1590, when Philip was 63, things got even worse. He began having repeating fevers, likely from malaria. His legs swelled so much with fluid that they looked like balloons. He couldn't walk anymore. The king who once controlled so much now couldn't even move on his own. By 1596, Philip could barely write. His hands were so deformed that holding a pen was almost impossible. This was a hard blow, especially for a man who loved paperwork and running the government. In July 1598, his health hit rock bottom. His whole body swelled with fluid. Gout attacked his spine, knees, and elbows. The pain was constant. Doctors tried everything they knew: bloodletting, vomiting drugs, prayers, but nothing helped. His fever kept coming back. He drifted between fever dreams and painful moments of awareness. Then came the worst part. Because he couldn't move, Philip developed bed sores, huge open wounds on his back and legs. These became infected. The wounds attracted insects and maggots. His mattress had to be cut open so his body fluids could drain without him moving. Lice swarmed his body. In a rare moment of clarity, Philip is said to have whispered, "Look how this body that ruled the world can't even command its own parasites." Even his closest friends and courtiers were horrified. They saw their powerful king being eaten alive, slowly falling apart in front of them. This wasn't just physical suffering. Philip was a deeply religious man. He believed that his suffering was God's way of punishing him for his sins, his own private purgatory before death. One priest wrote that Philip endured the pain with the patience of a saint. On the morning of September 13th, 1598, after 52 days of misery, Philip finally died. He clutched a crucifix in his twisted hands and whispered what may have been a prayer. No one knows his last words for sure. But when he died, his face, once twisted in pain, looked peaceful. Like he had finally escaped his suffering. His body, now just a rotting shell, was prepared for burial. It was hard work. The embalmers had to fight against the smell and decay. Still, they managed to dress him with dignity and placed him in a coffin. His body was taken to El Escorial, the grand monastery he had built to show his power and faith. With Philip's death, an important chapter in history ended. This was the man who fought against Protestantism, united Spain and Portugal, crushed rebellions, and led a vast empire. And yet, in the end, he died in the most humiliating way. Bedridden, in pain, eaten by insects. There's a lesson in that. During his life, Philip tried to control everything: religion, politics, the oceans, distant lands. But in the end, he couldn't even control his own body. The king who thought he was God's chosen ruler became proof of how weak humans really are. Historians today still debate how much his illness affected the country. Some believe that as his health got worse, he had to trust others to govern, and many of those people weren't very smart or skilled. Others think his pain made him more open to peace and less likely to fight wars. But everyone agrees on one thing: Philip's death shocked people. In a time when the king's body was seen as the body of the whole nation, seeing the most powerful ruler dying in filth and misery was terrifying. If even a king could suffer like that, what did that say about the world? His son, Philip III, became king after him. But he was very different. Maybe after watching his father die like that, he chose to enjoy life instead of working himself to death with government papers. He let others run the country, like the Duke of Lerma, and didn't try to control every detail. Philip II's death is not just a sad story. It's a reminder: no matter how powerful you are, you're still human. Kings and beggars all die the same way. His slow, painful end is not just something for horror lovers. It's a wake-up call. Behind the crown and riches was a man who suffered, a man who died. Just like the rest of us.